Welcome to the Player Supreme Show at zenmac.com. I am your host, Player Supreme, and today I want to talk about conversation skills. As you know, a lot of smart people have very poor conversational skills, as we've been talking about in recent shows. And one key to becoming a great conversationalist that I want to share with you today is to learn to pause before replying. A short pause of 3 to 5 seconds is a classy thing to do in a conversation. When you pause, you accomplish 3 goals. The first goal is you avoid the risk of interrupting the other person in case they're just trying to catch their breath before they continue. Secondly, you show the other person that you're giving careful consideration to what they're saying before you jump in with your own comments. How many times have you been in conversation with someone and they just jumped in? Kind of rude, wasn't it? Well, that's how you come across when you do that. Now, the third benefit of pausing is that you actually hear the other person better, what they're saying, so that their words will soak into a deeper level of your mind, and you will understand what they're saying with greater clarity. So by pausing, you mark yourself and you become a brilliant conversationalist. Secondly, you want to learn to ask questions. As you guys know from my style, I don't teach running out there yelling scripts in a girl's face. Storytelling is a powerful tool in public speaking. It's also a powerful tool in communication, but I teach getting a girl's life story. That means take a real and active interest in her life. Take the sex out of the equation and approach her as an individual. You do this by asking questions. So the second way to become a great conversationalist is to question for clarification. Don't ever assume that you understand what she's saying. Instead, ask this magic phrase. How do you mean exactly? How do you mean exactly? Now, this is one of the most powerful questions that you can ever learn for controlling a conversation. And it's almost impossible not to answer it. When you ask, how do you mean? The other person cannot help but stop themselves and answer the question more extensively. Then you can follow it up with other open-ended questions and keep the conversation rolling. But your key is to get her life story. Take a real and active interest in her as an individual. As you know, or may not know, some of you may not know this, but way back in time, women developed immense social skills and communication skills. While we were out doing the hunting, they were sitting around the campfires in the caves or in the huts or in the towns developing social skills. Women are excellent communicators. Unfortunately, us men, we've kind of fallen to the side. So we got to catch back up to women. So learn to paraphrase the person's words, which is the third way to become a great conversationalist, is using paraphrasing. Now, you do this by saying something like, let me see if I've got this right. What you're saying is, and then repeat what they said. By paraphrasing, you're demonstrating that you are genuinely paying attention and making every effort to understand her thoughts or feelings. And the amazing thing is, when you practice effective listening, other people will begin to find you fascinating and charismatic. That is how you develop charisma. You develop it by the way the other person views you. Charisma is not something that you carry around with you. It's how people start seeing you. And effective listeners are seen as charismatic individuals. People will then want to want to start hanging out with you. Always want to be around you. They'll feel relaxed and happy in your presence. So listening builds trust. Now, the reason why listening is such a powerful tool in developing the art of communication is because it builds trust. The more you listen to another person, the more they begin to trust you and believe in you. Just as you would feel if someone really listened to you. So listening can also build self-esteem. When you really listen to another person, their self-esteem actually goes up. Do you remember when your parents actually listened to you? You felt good. When someone who in authority actually really listened to you, you felt good. You felt positive. So listening can also be used to develop discipline, which is my final point that I want to make. Listening builds discipline in you, the listener. Because our minds process words of at least 600 words a minute, but we can only talk 150 words a minute. It takes a real effort to keep your attention focused on another person's conversation or words. Now, if you do not practice self-discipline in conversation, then your mind, as you've probably had happen, will begin to wander in 1,000 different directions. But the more you work at paying close attention to what she is saying or the other person is saying, the more self-disciplined you will become. So in other words, by learning to listen, you will actually develop your own character and your own personality. And that's what's missing from a lot of the pickup artists that are out there. They're so focused on yelling a script in a girl's face that they never really develop their own character and their own personality, which is why they get dumped so often after they finally luck up on a girl that'll think they're cute enough to go out with. I want you to take two things with you that I want you to implement into your own lives from this day forward. The first thing is get in the habit of pausing before you reply in any conversation. Powerful tool. The guy that I work out with does that excellently. He uses pauses effectively. And it makes you stop and pay attention to him. Secondly, learn to ask, how do you mean? In response to anything that's not perfectly clear. And this gives you even more time to listen well. So take these two exercises or habits with you into your game. You'll see that your listening skills and your communication skills will grow tremendously, and women will want to be around you more. Until next time, fellas.